One of the things that distinguished us early on, and different stores have adopted it since, is carrying the ancillary stuff, you know? And I carried it because my background, when I was a kid, I worked at the Silver Snail, which is a big comic book store here. So that was always my surroundings. And as with comic book stores, you don't just carry comic books. You carry, figures, you carry the books, the graphic novels, posters, everything. And when we started here, that always seemed like, a natural thing to do. I think part of it was because I was never in video stores before. And I think that's really helped us, because you don't have to just come in here and rent movies. You can obviously buy movies, and most places have that, but there's also the magazines, there's prints now, there's figures or toys and books, and I think that really helps us. Plus the fact that, with Blockbuster, they were so blockbuster-centric, like Hollywood-centric. And those are the things that are readily available online. It's all the B movies, or a lot of the documentaries and foreign films that may not have a wide enough audience to really justify like Netflix having, because Netflix is not very good. I know that they tout a certain number of titles, but they really don't have very much. And they follow the model of having the top maybe 300 titles, and then the top 100 TV shows, and that's it. And we've never had that model, so that, I think that's assisted us. We were always, partially because of our interest, but also economically, is that we would carry interesting Hollywood films, but we would only carry 1 or 2 copies, because if we had the money of buying 10 movies, why would you just buy 10 of the same film? It didn't make any sense to us. You could buy 2 of the big one, and then 8 kind of lesser known or unknown films, and maybe that drove some people away, but I think for the most part we didn't really care terribly, because those, in that model too, is that those major films would sometimes pay for the lesser ones, but sometimes vice versa. Like, we'd get stuff that no one's heard of, but because of word of mouth or because we promoted it, it would actually do much better than the mainstream ones. And there's a lot of things that you just cannot get online. We carry a lot of VHS still, because we were never one of those stores that dumps their VHS because all of a sudden there's a new format. We would do that only if that particular title was available on DVD, because it didn't make sense to us to just get rid of them, because who's to say that they ever come out? And there's still like tens of thousands of movies that have not come out on DVD.
You've got a lot of employees who've worked here for a lot of years. So how did you acquire these characters, and can you tell me a bit about some of them?
I think, again, by accident. I think they were just, for the most part, when we opened, it was essentially populated by friends who went to film school as well. But then you develop a relationship with regulars, and it's that relationship that, when a position opens up, you would just ask them to come in, and it was usually based on their tastes and their knowledge, because that was really important, because otherwise why would you want to work in a video store? Which isn't to say that they all have broad knowledge on every genre, but they're at least, they have a very strong knowledge on specific genres, which would be their favorite, which is natural, but they're also interested in other genres. And I think it's a really good mix. Depending on who's here, you would probably get a better answer to various questions if, let's say, your interest is classic Hollywood or international films, or horror. Like, it really depends on who's here. We can always refer you to the other person. Yeah, and I could say, like, Glenn, who's worked here for a long time, well, you know Glenn, his forte, and he's not restricted to this, but his forte is, exploitation films and horror films, but he's really interested in music as well. And with Chris, it's a pretty broad base of interest, including, horror and documentaries, and with Cameron, he's really into classic Hollywood, and everyone has their own forte, which is great. Kent is very much into the Asian cinema. But yeah, everyone is interested in a broad range of things, you know.
So finally, where do you see the future of this industry? Because there seems to be a push away from physical media. So how do you think that will play out? And where does an operation like Suspect Video fit into the digital future?
Where it fits into the digital future is difficult to say. I think the physical media still has a ways to go, because we get a lot of people. Our sales increase. The rentals go down, but the sales increase. And that's basically because of smart video companies like Screen Factory and obviously Criterion. It's companies that realize they have to deliver more than just the movie. They have to deliver more of an experience. So, I mean, even Netflix releases their stuff on DVD. So, I mean, if it's a dead medium, why would they even bother? You know, it's obviously because it still sells. In terms of the future, what I can see is that the video stores that remain will be better than they've ever been before. And they'll have a very specific clientele. They will become the video version of the record store. And the record stores have not died. They've just gotten better and more eclectic. So that is what the future, in the immediate future, of the video store is. So we'll still continue. Whether it'll look like this or not is difficult to say. It'll really depend upon the space that we see. Could be better.